All right, so a few days ago, I posted something on my story essentially saying, ask me anything, where you guys had the opportunity to submit questions. And I mentioned that I will be responding to these questions in a section of one of my YouTube videos, which is gonna be now. And that I'd also give whoever asked the best question $50 as a reward. So I'll be announcing that winner at the end. Yeah, I also haven't looked at any of these questions yet, guys. I'm just gonna be doing it off the top, freestyling, sort of raw dogging the responses. That way I could keep it authentic and transparent. Also, I'm not gonna read every single question because I want to only choose the good ones that actually have substance and will provide value to you guys. All right, so I'm gonna scan through the questions and I'm gonna answer the ones that I think will be valuable for you guys to hear the answer to. All right, so let's get straight into it. So firstly, this guy says, in the times of everyone copying everything / everyone they see, how to be unique and inspiring? It's a pretty good question, actually. So here's my response to that. You need to find a balance, right? And this balance is between remodeling what's already worked for others and also adding your own unique spin to it, your own unique touch, your own differentiating angle. It's finding that balance, right? Because you don't want to completely just go off into your own direction, because then there's no proof of concept with what you're doing. And to be frank, guys, like in order to become successful and make a lot of money in this digital world, like you don't need to do something completely from scratch that no one's ever heard of. That's just not necessary. You could get really, really far, honestly, just by kind of remodeling what's already worked for other people. You don't have to be too creative. So it's the balance between sort of going into the direction of what's already proven to work for other people, but also not like directly copying them. Right? Because if you just directly copy someone, like if you do it really, really well, like you'll be able to like get to a certain point, but you'll be limiting yourself, right? So ultimately, the differentiating angle, or to answer your question, how to be unique and inspiring, is to add an element of authenticity with whatever you're doing. Because a lot of people, I see them, they make the mistake of just directly copying other people or just like remodeling them so closely and not adding their own unique touch to it, to the point where it's just not authentic. Right? And authenticity is something that you can't fake, guys. It's like something that people could feel through the screen. So if you're just directly copying others and you're not adding anything of substance yourself, your own flavor, your own sauce to it, it's not gonna really hit home or hit hard to whoever you're trying to target, right? But obviously, the answer to this question sort of depends on whatever venture you're in, right? Because that's my response that I would give for like a theme page, for example. But depending on the route or venture that you're in, I'm sure the answer would vary a little bit, but I think the overall concept remains true. It's finding that balance between remodeling what's already worked for other people, but also adding your own unique touch to it and being authentic, most importantly. Next thing, if all your social media accounts were removed for whatever reason, how could you make it all back? Well, what's interesting about that is the results that I've gotten on social media, whether it's like my theme pages, my personal brand, all of my accounts combined, that's all a reflection of the skills and knowledge that I have right now. A direct reflection, right? I wouldn't be able to be the type of person who has hundreds of thousands of followers across, multiple different pages, across multiple different platforms, if I wasn't already the type of person who was capable of doing that, right? And the point I'm trying to make is, since I've done it once, I could do it again. Like I would ultimately just follow in the footsteps that I've already taken now, knowing, because I still have all the skills, I still have all the knowledge that's got me here. Nobody could take away those things from me. I mean, you could take away my social media pages, but I could just take the skills and knowledge that I've learned and just put it back into starting from scratch, right? And really the only thing that would be a variable or a factor is time. I would just have to be patient, put in the work, grind, because even if you're doing everything right, it's not gonna happen overnight like that. It's not gonna be the case. So yeah, I would do everything that I already did, which is just posting content, staying consistent, researching, all the same things that have already got me here to this point. What's the secret to make money? Well, my mind goes in a couple different directions in terms of how I should answer that question. My initial impression is to say, there is no secret. There's no secret to making money, and you shouldn't be looking for a secret, because you're not gonna accidentally stumble upon this one secret that by stumbling upon now magically allows you to make a ton of money, and it's like, where has this secret been the entire time? Because in reality, all it really takes to become successful and make a lot of money, especially in this digital age where there's so much opportunity, is the cliche boring stuff. Consistency, hard work, not giving up, trying your best. This is stuff you've heard a million times. But don't negate its importance. Just because you've heard it a million times doesn't mean it's not important. They're actually the most important things. Just the reason you don't take it seriously is because you've just heard it so many times to where it's become devalued and you're desensitized to it. But that's really the answer. There is no secret. You just need to find something that has worked for someone else and try your best at it over a long enough period of time, stay consistent, and don't give up, and you will succeed. If you don't give up, you can't fail. Like, that's just kind of what it comes down to. But that's a boring response, I get it. So the other direction that I could go in with the question is understanding that you become what you think about. If you can master your mind, if you can master your thoughts and only think constructive thoughts that will then form solid belief systems that serve you, which then have your actions stem from those belief systems, and those actions lead to good outcomes and circumstances for you, that's sort of the secret. I know that was a mouthful there, but I would encourage whoever's watching this to look up The Strangest Secret by Earl Nightingale on YouTube. It's like a 30 to 40 minute sort of like audio presentation type thing. And that's a game changer right there. I remember the first time I heard that audio recording, I was like mind blown. I really, really encourage that you watch that. I've been watching it probably once a month for the past like year or so now. And it's incredibly important. Like, if you genuinely understand what he says in that sort of audio recording over the 30, 40 minutes, that can be considered the secret. Hence the name of the audio recording, The Strangest Secret. That's literally what it's called. And it's that you become what you think about. And if you hear that now and you don't understand it, just go watch the video. I promise you won't regret it. Let's see. What's the mindset when you were poor before and the mindset as of now? That's interesting. Well, first off, for everyone watching, I was never poor. I mean, I'm not going to be one of those YouTube video people who's like, yeah, you know, I had negative $6 in my bank account and I was thousands of dollars in debt. I was sleeping on the floor. I was homeless. Like, that's, you know, you'll hear a lot of people saying that and they're just lying, but I have no problem being transparent. By no means did I come from like a trust fund or like a millionaire family, but I was middle income. I never struggled with eating or just basic stuff. You know, I had the basic things sort of covered. I never struggled in that sense, right? So I just kind of wanted to clear that up. But second, I sort of understand the point of the question. Like, what's the mindset when you were making no money? So I think the best way to frame this question is actually, what was my mindset when I was working like regular jobs and like making minimum wage, like 1K a month, versus like now in the position that I'm in now. So here's the thing. Back then, it all really comes down to belief systems again. So I had limiting beliefs. I thought that certain things weren't possible. I thought that certain things were unrealistic. I thought that certain things I wasn't able to achieve myself. I had a little bit of an ego where I thought I kind of already knew everything and that I didn't need to learn as much as I actually did need to learn. I also thought that I was pretty risk averse. Like, I wanted to stay in my comfort zone. I didn't really ever take a step out of the comfort zone, which obviously is not good because growth and comfort do not coexist. So I wasn't growing. Also, yeah, I was risk averse. I didn't want to take any risks. I was scared. I had fear. I would always think pessimistically, oh, what if this doesn't work out? Oh, what if this happens? What if I lose money? Like, what if I waste my time? I would sort of get into those thought patterns and had those beliefs, right? Versus where I am now, it's essentially the inverse of all of those things that I just mentioned. So instead of having an ego thinking I know everything, I have humility, and I always understand now that the more I know, the more I realize how much I don't know, and that there's always more to learn and that I still know nothing. That's an important mindset to have. Also, instead of being risk averse, I do take risks to a degree. I don't obviously like risk everything like that. That would be stupid, but I take calculated risk. Also, instead of believing things aren't possible or realistic, I understand that the only limitations in life are the ones that you impose on yourself. So I understand that really anything is possible and I can do whatever I want if I put my mind to it and I work hard at it. And I understand Newton's third law, every action has an equal and opposite reaction. So if there's certain things that I want, I just need to understand pretty much what I need to sacrifice in order to achieve X thing and determine whether I'm willing to make those sacrifices or not. If I am willing to make the sacrifices, I know I'll get it. If not, then that's my choice. But those are some parallels between my old mindset versus now. Let's see. Basically, content creation is actually milking people's attention span, right? Well, a little bit. I mean, that's one way to think about it, but I think there's a spectrum here, right? Because everyone knows that there's absolute brain rot, where it's just absolute brain rot, like mind-frying videos that are just super, super sort of dopamine intensive. That sort of milks people. But I think there's also lots of content which in digestible bite-sized chunks are actually very good, especially if it's a very non-stimulating, value-based sort of video. I mean, to a degree, it's still giving the person dopamine, but it's not milking them as much as some brain rot stuff. Especially, I mean, I don't know. That's one of the beauty about theme pages. Like, especially with the pages that I'm managing and the people that I'm helping out, like a majority, like 90-95% of the brands are all value-based brands, right? Whether it's like motivation or entrepreneurship or AI or God and Christianity or like stoicism and mindset, like it's all like positive, valuable, substantial information for people to be consuming compared to like just brain rot or like engagement bait stuff. So it does milk people's attention span to a degree, but at least it's making a positive impact. Like I go to sleep good every single night. I can put my head down and sleep because I know that I'm genuinely impacting people's lives in a positive way every single day through my pages, through the 87 million views that I've gotten over the past 30 days. And just looking into my DMs, I could see people reaching out to me in the dozens on a daily basis, just saying, thank you for your page. Your content motivates me and helps me so much. I'm inspired, all that stuff. So even though maybe you're milking attention spans a little bit, at least you're providing value, okay? Let's see. I'm not even gonna read the question that I just read. Oh God, okay, let's see. How did you overcome your doubt, frustration, obstacles when you were trying to build your life back then? That's a pretty good question. How did I overcome them? I faced them by just going straight into them and by taking action. There was a period of time where I had doubts and fears and frustrations, and I had let those things sort of hold me back from taking action and sort of pursuing what I wanted to pursue. But then after a certain point where I realized that that sort of way of thinking wasn't getting me where I wanted to get to, I took a different approach, which is just tackling things straight on, sort of just jumping straight into it and just facing the fear head on by taking action. So instead of procrastinating and letting that fear and doubt or whatever sort of hold me back, I would just face it head on. At that point, at least I would learn. Most of the time I've taken action, I mean, I don't regret taking action, I only regret not taking action, to put it that way. Because every time I've taken action, there's always been a benefit to it. Like I either got everything that I wanted out of taking action, or I had to pivot, but in some way I learned a lesson or, got something valuable out of it regardless. So as soon as I just started taking action rather than overthinking with these doubts, frustrations, and fears, that's when it all changed for me. What's the most overlooked skill that actually decides whether someone wins or is stuck? This is a great question. I would say pattern recognition. Pattern recognition is a really, really, really critical skill to have, especially in like sort of the growing and monetizing theme page space. Because if you could identify patterns not only among other high-performing content on Instagram right now and being able to learn from that, but also looking at patterns from your own page and what content's actually resonating with people and what people are enjoying and what Instagram is pushing out, then that gives you a huge advantage because you can double down on those patterns and keep doing more of what people want. And that's how you could really exponentialize your growth. Whereas other people who aren't good at pattern recognition, they'll always sort of be on a slower trajectory of growing because they're not capitalizing off opportunity that's there that they just don't see. So that's a really, really good skill that is overlooked and determines whether people win or go at a slower trajectory. But this is also a skill that a lot of people are sometimes better at naturally versus sometimes people have to learn it. So just to put it this way, some people are better at it naturally than others. So if you have it naturally, that's great. You have a huge advantage over others. But if you don't have it naturally, it's a skill that you could learn. So just look at the data, try to analyze the patterns, connect the puzzle pieces together, connect the dots, and over time you'll get better at it. All right. What mindset shift made you unstoppable? The only limitations that you have in life are the ones that you impose on yourself. That's it. No other limitation is there. It's only in your mind. There's no limitations. You only have a mental construct of the limitation. If you think you can't do something, it's only because you think you can't. And if you don't think you can, you won't be able to do it. You just need to understand that all things are possible as long as you believe that they are. And that the limitations don't exist if you don't impose them on yourself. And once you understand that, you'll become unstoppable too. Recommend 5 books, Mindset Business. Okay, cool. Think and Grow Rich by Napoleon Hill. Atomic Habits by James Clear. The One Thing, I forgot who the author is. Influence by Robert Cialdini. Maybe How to Win Friends and Influence People as well. I think those five are a good list. If you read those 5 books, you'll be ahead of so many people. If you guys know me, I'm a big proponent of not just reading a book just for the fuck of it, but to actually download that shit into your brain, because most people just read a book one time and then they're on to the next and they think it's like a numbers game. But what you fail to understand is that you can't actually get the knowledge of a book by reading it just one time. You need to read it multiple times until you actually fully understand it. And a good sort of rule of thumb is like, if you can't explain something to someone else, you don't really understand it. So you need to read a specific book as much times until you could genuinely sort of like summarize it in many ways to someone else. Because that's how you can prove to yourself that you actually understand it. Because obviously if you read a book one time, you're not going to be able to summarize the whole thing, unless like you're really, really focused, but even then. All right, this is going on a little long now, so let's choose a couple more here. Which countries are in your number 1 and also in number 2? So this is like a travel related question. So number 1, Italy. How could it not be? And number 2, I would say either Croatia or Switzerland. So, you know, the reason why I like Croatia is it shares the same Adriatic that I'm looking into right now. And Croatia is just beautiful. It's beautiful, it's got cool history. The people and the culture is very friendly. The food's pretty good there, the Balkan food. And there's also lots to see. It's a beautiful country. And then Switzerland, man, the nature in Switzerland is unbeaten. Like the mountains, the lakes, it's a pretty magical place, I can't lie. It's like majestic. Ever had the chance to check out Prague? Yes, I have. I was in Prague last year, around this time actually. Prague's pretty cool. The thing is, I gravitate more towards nature-based places, whereas Prague is like more of a historical city, which is still really cool, don't get me wrong, and seeing those types of cities are great every once in a while, but I'll always choose a lovely Italian coastline over historical city, typically. All right, let's go with one more. If you had to start from absolute zero again, no money, no followers, what exact steps would you take in the first 30 days? So, okay, if I lost all my money, had no followers, what steps would I take in the next 30 days? Well, I would get straight to the drawing board in terms of building the empire back up again. So, firstly, again, in order to make money online, as you guys understand, you need to have attention, right? And you get attention by posting content on the internet and on Instagram specifically. So Instagram is the best platform for sure. So yeah, I would start a new theme page. I would start a personal brand along the theme page. I obviously wouldn't like just jump straight into it. I'd actually take like a few days to really do some in-depth research about the sort of niche that I wanted to go in and really get like a full sort of strategic plan together. Well, the light turned off here. That's how you know we're running out of time. I'd get a whole strategic plan together, sort of outline my own blueprint. So the process would be picking the niche, getting clarity on that, beginning to actually get the content strategy together, post consistently 2 to 3 times per day, high quality content within that niche. And then as I'm growing and getting the followers, thousands, tens of thousands, and eventually just it would be a matter of time to the hundreds of thousands, I would put together a monetization mechanism or system in place on my page, whether it's a combination of newsletter, digital product, promotions, brand deals. There's all these different ways that I would be able to monetize my theme page as time was going on. And that's more of like, I guess, a long-term horizon, but in the first 30 days, it would really just all be about volume. It'd be about volume. So maybe instead of 3 times per day, I'd be doing like 5 times per day, high quality, consistent content, as high quality as possible, to actually get the attention in the niche that I was targeting and try to grow the account as quickly as possible. That's what I'd be doing first 30 days. So I'd be prioritizing the theme page, and then I would just document the process alongside on a personal brand, because that can only help you. It will never hurt you. So yeah, that's it for the questions. Oh, I need to pick a winner. 1 second. I have someone in mind. 1 second. All right, I got it up. The person who said, how did you overcome your doubts, fears, frustration, obstacles when you were trying to build your life back then? The Instagram name is whoever this is. If that's you, send me a DM. To clarify, the name is Hassan something ALM. So Hassan, if you're watching this, DM me, you can claim your prize. That's about it, everyone. If you're still here, thank you for staying till the end. I hope you were able to get some value from me answering those questions. And none of this matters if you don't actually take action on what you learned, right? Because if you learn something and you find it interesting, but then you continue acting as you always have been, it's as good as not even learning it in the first place. So what I would challenge you to do is, from one thing that you learned throughout this past 20 minutes here, find something actionable that you can do right away. So for example, go ahead and watching the Earl Nightingale, The Strangest Secret, and applying the little 30-day challenge he gives at the end would be an example of actually taking action on what you learned, all right? It could be anything though. As long as you're taking action and you're not just consuming more information and not doing anything with it and not applying, that's what matters, all right? But again, thank you for watching till the end. Stay blessed, stay healthy. I'll see you soon.